Well, hello and welcome, folks. If this is your first time, welcome. Thanks for stopping by. If this is your second time, if you've seen my first inaugural episode, welcome back. I'm glad I didn't scare you away yet. All right, so for this episode, we're going to get right down to the nitty-gritty because you know what this channel is all about. If you've seen the first one, if you haven't, go watch it where I review Bleu de Chanel. So yeah, we're just going to get right down to it. In today's installment, we're going to be reviewing the alluring, the nostalgic Trésor. Alrighty, so Trésor by Lancome it's a floral oriental composition for women, marketed towards women. It was launched in 1990. And the marketing dialogue for it goes a little something like this. It says, Trésor is a treasure among perfume creations. Trésor in French means treasure, in case you couldn't tell. It is one of the best-selling and most popular fragrances in the world. This exceptionally warm floral oriental has a very fine and elegant composition made of rose, heliotrope, orris, apricot, and iris. All right, so we don't want to jump the gun, put the cart before the horse, because I'm going to get to the body, okay? But that is part of the promotional content when this fragrance was hot. So that being said, so, you know, the bit about this being a creation from 1990, okay, kind of leads into why this fragrance is significant to me, and I think nostalgic for a lot of people, really, for it to have come out in 1990. A lot of people who smelled this, I would think, would have strong associations with it since it was so popular in the mid to late 90s. For me personally, I associate it with being a young lad who was waking up for school, like in elementary school, kindergarten, first grade, and it smells like adults getting ready in the morning for work. And I know that because, in particular, my mom was wearing this as she was getting ready for work. So this has a very strong, nice warm association for me personally. So I just wonder how many people have that same kind of association with this fragrance, with someone, an older important person in their lives who used to spritz this on as they would get ready for whatever important occasion or mundane occasion. No, but for real, I really think that, Anita Baker reference aside, a lot of people in my age bracket or older, so millennials or older, would find this to be a pretty nostalgic fragrance, a pretty heartwarming fragrance that stirs a lot of emotions of the past, which could be good or bad, but for me, and hopefully for you, mostly good. So having said that, let's go ahead and get into what actually composes the body of this mystifying fragrance. So, lining the top notes of this fragrance are going to be peach, rose, apricot blossom, lilac, pineapple, lily of the valley, and bergamot. Middle notes, the heart of the fragrance, are going to be more rose, iris, heliotrope, and jasmine. And then holding it down for the base notes of this fragrance are the peach, apricot, vanilla, sandalwood, amber, and musk. And so I'm going to say this fragrance is the main, I think, oriental floral is a really good way to describe this fragrance or summarize it, because it certainly is that, but I feel like it's also very fruity too. You get this and from the moment you open the nozzle, like if I were to spray this on me, all right, you get this really playful, almost exotic shot of fruit that's kind of a mix of the peach and pineapple that are in the top notes. All right, so those are what are going to be flooding the nose initially, and that's what makes this fragrance feel so playful yet so sophisticated at the same time, because as soon as those summery notes like pineapple and bergamot and the citrusy and the fruity peach they start jumping around and making a party in your nose, it's like the rose and the iris, and a lot of the other oriental florals that compose the heart of the body of this fragrance are like, whoa, whoa, whoa. This is a sophisticated party. All right, so it slows it down. It keeps it from being just a regular freshy scent, a regular citrus floral, like a lot of women's fragrances are you see today. And so that's why, even though this one is feminine and floral and citrusy, it's not like, it's what I've heard some people describe as like a brown citrus, so kind of like that apricot, that you definitely do feel smell, on the dry down after it's really been on your skin for a while. What I think about this fragrance, honestly, this fragrance is great. I think that it is a very, it's what I call a fragrance that's very playful but poised at the same time. You know what I mean? It's sensual but composed. And it kind of just smells very much like something, a working woman would want to wear. Or even a woman who feels like she needs to be, who wants to be taken seriously in a field that's dominated by men. It's kind of what this smells like to me. She wants to be taken serious in a field that's dominated by men, but she doesn't want to sacrifice her femininity to do that. And to hold on to it, she spritzes on a bit of Tresor every morning. So that's what this kind of gives to me. But yeah, so a word of caution about this fragrance, however, is that, so this one in particular that I'm reviewing is, like I said, is the one that was made in 1990. All right, so this is the classic Lancome Trésor. All right, so if you are to search for Trésor, you're going to get a lot of Trésors that have been made since then that do not smell like this. And from what I've been reading online, as we'll get to in just a few moments, do not smell quite as good as this either. So make sure that if you are interested in this fragrance and it smells like something that you would like, that you specify the Lancome Trésor of 1990, the original juice. All right, so you're probably not going to be able to find that at Macy's or any other fragrance counter today. You'll probably have to look online at eBay. I'm sure you could find, or any other, a number of online perfume and fragrance retailers and distributors. Yeah, the more I smell this on the dry down, I get kind of like a banana note. Not sure what that's about, because there's no banana in it. That could be a mix of the apricot and maybe the peach, and the eastern florals. But yeah, still a brilliant fragrance. It's a classic. Yeah, your mom probably has this bottle too. Ask her about it. I'm sure she loves it. And so, the official Harry's Fragrance Counter review for Tresor by Lancome is going to be a whopping 4.5. That little last spritz was supposed to be half a spritz. 4.5 out of 5 stars, which ain't bad. Which ain't bad at all. So that's a pretty high endorsement for a fragrance. But hey, don't take my word for it. Let's see what our friends over at Fragrantica have to say about this mysterious, alluring autumnal fragrance. Alrighty, so user Anaya Vanilla says, I feel the need to defend this perfume. To me, it's not like a grandma. It feels seductive, but young-spirited. Like running in a flowy dress in Paris to a cafe with the windows open. It smells like fresh air with a hint of cucumber. Sounds weird, but it works. So ripe peach and sherbet, with an undertone of sandalwood and vanilla. I feel young but sophisticated. Sexy, but in an effortless way. Like I am free-spirited and unachievable. I do love this scent and wear it every day. And I have to agree with the emphatic comment of an vanilla, because yeah, it does have a very kind of like sullen, like sexiness and sensuality to it. That is unmistakable. User Ika Uni Relianti says, a classic perfume, definitely for mature women. Perfect for evening/nighttime. A strong scent of floral, fruity, and powdery. Elegant yet classy. And then user Walpurga says, I am undecided on this scent. I like the depth and complexity, but unfortunately I get strong associations with hairspray. And yeah, so a word about that. That's very fair. It does kind of smell a bit like it has some of the same notes as like your typical hairspray. But this is where we get into something called fragrance texture. How many of you knew that fragrances have a texture? Bet you didn't know that. Yeah, so the texture, the smell is like a hairspray, but the texture is not like hairspray. The texture is much more well blended and not as sharp as hairspray. And this is in part due to the fact that it's well blended, as well as the fact that it has, you know, like the musk and the amber resinous notes at the base that kind of keep it from being so sharp, and those floral orientals. And it doesn't have a lot of the same industrial, volatile compounds that, you know, you would find in something like hairspray. So close, Walpurga, but no cigar. And user Borset says, am I the only one who thinks the opening note smells like cocaine? I mean, I wish I could help you there, buddy, but I'm not quite familiar with that olfactive family. And finally, Mick1995 says, it's pretty, fruity and floral, but also a tad earthy to my nose. I get what smells like a hay note. It's timeless, though. And timeless she is. Folks, again, I couldn't recommend this enough. Very nice fragrance. If you are, since it is typically women who are looking for this fragrance, you will definitely be one of the few and the proud today wearing and flying the banner that is Tresor, because it's not something that I smell every day at all on women. It's time to bring it back. It's happening in literally every other facet of art and music, TV, all these reboots. Let's reboot and revive Trésor, all right? Let's do it for the kids. All right, folks, that's all I've got for you on this installment of Harry's Fragrance Counter. You will see me soon enough. Until then, for your own sake and those all around you, keep on smelling good.